Alright, welcome back again everyone to the You Like That podcast. My name is Adam.
My name is Jack, the other half of the podcast.
Yeah, sorry, I'm one half of the podcast. I was wondering why the fuck you were staring at me. It's not like we recorded one of these yesterday or anything.
What's the point of a cute little motto if we're not going to say it?
I don't know. It's been a long weekend. It's been a very busy weekend. But we're here with part 2 of our Saw franchise review. What do you want to call it? Going from Saw 5 to Jigsaw. This is going to conclude our season 1 of the isolation days. Hopefully. We might be calling it a bit too soon because we might be back into it.
Season 2 has to start regardless because we've already recorded it. So season 2 starts whether
exactly right.
We're in lockdown or not.
It's going to start somewhere and it's just going to be a new season. But yes, we're back again. We appreciate everyone's feedback and reception of the first part of the Saw review. Has been a very fun time watching them up until this episode, where this is now just a downhill spiral of great Saw movies.
Yeah, but they really stop.
So the good thing about splitting this franchise into the 2 parts and stopping it at 4 and then picking up from 5 is this is really the turning point of how bad these movies got in terms of, not in terms of like the underlying plot that carried out throughout, but just the overall portrayal throughout the rest of them.
Just sort of the quality in general. Like, they look a bit worse, they're shot a bit worse, the story, like, the story is all still interconnected and stuff, but the actual, like, game part of it is pretty much just the same every movie and sort of takes a back seat, kind of. Yeah. Really, because the cop thing is what you're there for. Like, who is Jigsaw? Mm-hmm. Is someone going to find out? So they wanted to make that movie, but then they were like, fuck, we still got to do the torture-y game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you sort of get the yin and yang, but they care a lot more about the yin.
Yes, and very apparent. So, kicking back into Saw 5, after the events of Saw 4, it's the big reveal of Mark Hoffman as one of the big accomplices to Jigsaw, and Peter Strahm catching on to him being somewhat more involved in the situation than first led to believe.
He's the good detective character who's actually a good detective. Like,
yeah.
He just figures it out straight away. Like, in most of those movies, they're like bumbling or they just never get it.
Yeah, no, he's just straight into it.
He's just straight away just like, well, it's clearly this guy. Like,
yeah, like, you guys are fucking dumb. Like, this is right. This is why I'm here. Fuck you. You're dumb. This is it. Just go. No stopping trying to figure it out.
They write a way to continue the conflict that you wouldn't get 7 more movies if he just figured it out and arrested him straight away. They had to find a way to put Strahm under the gun a little bit. Yeah.
So, Saw 5, this is a brief view of it. So, this one was directed by David Hackle. So, this is a new director into the series. Again, it's another one of those things where you can really notice that a new director has taken control of this movie.
This movie looks so funny. It looks like a daytime TV. It looks like The Bold and the Beautiful. Like, this weird, it's like they rubbed Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah.
So everything's like kind of not right and the lighting's just all wrong.
Yeah.
Like, is there a budget there? Like,
yeah, so budget was 10.8 million. So they got an extra 800,000.
Yeah. And it looks terrible with extra money.
It's so weirdly shot. So box office dragged in 113 million. Coming down as these movies are all starting to do. And
once you hit 5 of anything, people are gonna stop giving a shit. Like,
yeah, pretty much. So this one's Rotten Tomatoes score.
I can't wait.
It's 13%.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yep. It's
even I don't think it's that bad. It's in the 20s.
I don't believe it as well. Like, I still, like, I'm gonna rip on all these last couple movies, but I love them all still.
As a fan, you kind of can. Yeah.
It's just for the whole plot line in general.
I can make fun of Spider-Man 3. You can make fun of Saw.
Exactly. So it had a lot wrong. So, like, Metacritic gave it 20 out of 100. So it was performing really low on a critic standpoint, but for movies like this, you expected it to always be lower anyway. It was never going to be something massive for a franchise like this.
Like mass-produced, churned out year on year.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're not made to work to a critic's number or anything.
No, that's it. That's it. So yeah, you get a new director for this one. Everything else is all produced the same sort of standard. You have same cast as always. You just get the new victims of the new games being
involved. They
involved.
did well casting like smaller names. I think we mentioned this last time, but it's easy to get them back and continue this story when the actors only ask for a regular minimum wage paycheck, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So, again, it's another movie that starts off with a game that is inescapable, and this is where the movies start to throw you in how they drive these movies. So the first scene is the pendulum game. The guy gets cut in half, but he wins the game, but his collar doesn't let go. He still dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's heaps fucked up. You think that is happening now, because you don't get any backstory or anything. This is happening way back when.
Yeah.
So straight up, again, same sort of philosophy. It's let's start the movie with a game and someone getting fucked up really early.
Yep.
And then we'll go from there.
They have to start that way.
Yep. Which is then when you move on to going back to Peter Strom's view of being locked in the room with all the dead bodies now, and making his way out and finding his own little game in which he's trapped in a glass box, water's coming into his little box, makes a smart decision to stab a pen into his throat and breathe through that. Here's my first issue of this. It's a real thing that can happen, doing the whole stabbing yourself in the throat and breathing through there. That's a real thing that can happen. It's like a proper thing. So that's not what I feel wrong with it is.
Probably not with a big pen.
Yeah. The thing is, how long was he sitting like that before until the cops came up?
Yeah.
Because obviously,
it would have to be like immediately.
Like obviously the cops, like you see them come and like you see Hoffman come out of it, playing the victim in that and dragging out Detective Matthews' little girl they found there.
Yeah.
But in that same sense, I'm like, but how long was he just sitting in that box, just like with the pen and just looking around, being like,
well,
the fuck?
My ears are getting kind of sore.
It's kind of like I'd give it at least a half hour or so.
Yeah, and that's
a
like
minimum.
The absolute, yeah.
At the absolute minimum, because you're not shown like what part of the warehouse he's in, so you don't know if it's like hidden off somewhere in a corner and
or next door,
or next door or something like that. You may not even think he's even in that warehouse, but it's just like, oh yeah, no, and he comes out of it and
he's alright.
He's alive.
Voice. He stops doing the voice pretty quick. The actor gives up on the. He has like when he's in hospital, he's doing like the Christian Bale.
Yeah, he went for it really quick to have the. I was supposed to die.
Yeah. And then once his bandages come off, he's just like, it's just my voice.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's all good. I'm just got a little bit now, so we're pretty fine now. So yeah, now it's more of Peter Strom getting back on the trail of Hoffman or whoever else is the accomplice to Jigsaw, as he knows there is someone else, and he's getting closer to it now. And now that he's still alive, and Hoffman, wanted to get rid of him because he figured this was just the way to kill Strom.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have got out of this game whatsoever.
I like that Strom is a good cop. He's a very good character.
Yeah.
For him to become the main character is really like, I don't know what the word is. It's rewarding, sort of.
Yeah.
Because Saw 4, you're like, I really like this character. I'd like to see more of him. And then turns out he's the main guy in the next one.
Mm.
And he's just a good character. I like the actor. He kind of looks like Bob Odenkirk. I said that last time. But
yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, good cop, doing good work. Fun to watch. Not a great movie, but he's good.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, basically, like, Saw 5 is essentially just a cat and mouse game. From start to finish. It's legit just Hoffman trying to make his escape or try to get rid of Strom completely while there's a game going on. So it's like they're reaching on, okay, so it's going to be a serial killer versus the cop type movie, but we have to incorporate the Saw feeling into it. So we need to have some sort of a game.
Yeah.
So it's another 5-person type game, and it's a series of so they wake up with all the collars on their neck and all the boxes are in front of them. They got to go in, grab a key, undo the collar,
Yeah.
And then move on to the next one. If they fail, then the bomb of
the
nails.
one with the British journalist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So their games.
And the rub of that one is just like all they have to do is communicate and work together.
Yeah,
they'd be alright or something.
Exactly right.
The same or something.
Yeah. So as it gets to like the end of their game, they figure out because there's only 2 of them left, and they get to the part where they need to sacrifice 10 pints of blood to release the door.
Yeah.
And there's tapes going on like the human body has 10 pints, but it can survive on 5. And then they figure out, oh fuck, all these games we were supposed to work together, and
they all could have survived.
All the keys were the same, so we only needed 1 key and it would have worked.
Yeah.
The tunnel systems were big enough for more than 1 person, would have been fine. We would have all had to take 1 little electric shock, we'd be fine.
Yeah.
And now this would give 2 pints of blood each, we're fine.
Yeah.
As is the Saw philosophy and the whole Jigsaw motto. They're here for a reason. They just need to listen to...
People suck and can't do it.
More.
They die because of themselves, and he's not a murderer, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's been about 16 days since I watched these, so I'm sorry that I don't remember anything.
No, that's all right. It's a lot. There are a lot to try and remember.
Yeah, they all really do just blend in.
To try and remember the finer details in that of them. Like, I watched them just last weekend, and I'm still fucking struggling, which I have to have them up here on my phone here now. So basically, it's the rest of the cat and mouse is just Hoffman trying to lead on the rest of the FBI team that he's trying to say that Strum is now an accomplice of Jigsaw.
Yeah,
because
it's pretty much the only way they could have gone with it. Like, otherwise there'd be no real tension.
Yeah.
So
it's just a whole of trying to turn the tables and Hoffman trying to be as smart as what John Kramer would have been if he was trying to escape from something, which he did in the earlier ones and such. But just trying to flip the script and be like, he's following me, he's asking all these weird questions, yada yada yada, and leading up to the ending of the film, which is Strum.
Strongest Star Wars squished, like in the garbage compactor.
He gets properly Star Wars squished. What we would have seen in the original Star Wars, but we didn't. If you wanted to see what it looks like, just go watch Saw 5. You'll see that happen.
Yeah.
So, but
he has a plan for that too, because he knew he would hang on to the roof. Comes back to it in the next movie.
Yeah. So the whole thing was, Hoffman had this glass box set up, and the tape purely said, all you have to do is go into this box and take minimal damage and you will be fine.
Yeah.
But for some reason he knew that Hoffman was coming and stopped the tape and then put Hoffman in the box. It was like, gotcha. And then he just kind of like points down at the tape and goes, play the rest of it. And then continues by saying, but if you don't, then this place is going to be your tomb.
Of course.
And then the walls start closing in, and then Hoffman's just like, that's pretty funny.
It's all very coincidental still.
It's a weird setup because that game has so much risk to it, to Hoffman. Because Strum could have just looked at that and just walked out of the room and gone somewhere else.
Or fast forward, put the tape recorder on 1 times speed, so it's a bit faster, and you could still hear the whole thing. Yeah,
it's a weird setup to it.
If Hoffman didn't fall into the box, he would just get squashed as well, because the box goes away no matter what.
Exactly. So what if Strum went in the box, and then Hoffman was like, okay, kind of fucked yourself here.
We wouldn't get 3 more movies.
Exactly, which might have been for the better, but so basically that's the end of Strum. He's now squished Pancake Man.
Very squished.
And Hoffman lives to tell the tale.
What was the wife's role in this one? She hired the FBI boss to be like, Strum's following me. That's what Jill Tuck did in this one, right?
Not quite yet.
Well, the FBI boss just doesn't like Strum or something. Fires him.
Well, he puts him on medical leave because he's like, all that shit happened, and he's like, oh no, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But the initial thing with Jill in this one is more just she gets a box from John's will.
Oh yeah.
And that sort of has one of this game in it, and whatnot. But that it more comes into play into the next one. See, I don't think she has too much more that I can remember, because the whole end of the movie is just the the squishing of Strom, and then that's just where the movie ends.
Pretty much, yeah.
So Jules' whole thing is she's got this box that John's left her, and you obviously think, guys, he's going to allude to something further.
J.J. Abrams mystery box.
J.J. Abrams mystery box, yeah.
Until 2 movies later.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other thing like you learn in this movie is how John came into contact with Hoffman. So as I was saying before, with the start of the film, the pendulum trap was actually set before the Jigsaw case.
Yeah, right.
Like was fully picked up.
Killed his sister or some shit?
Yeah, so it's the guy that killed his sister, and he was just out for revenge. And Jigsaw was around, and just thought he would copy those methods and pen it as a Jigsaw trap.
Yeah, right. So
John kidnaps him and goes, "I don't like when people give me credit for work that is inferior to my own. It's a big slap in the face, so fuck you." And he's just got him strapped there with a shotgun.
Weird hill to die on.
Pointed up to him, and just gives him the whole spiel of, you know, like, I know what you've done, and, you know, you can either learn from this lesson and I can show you how to do this properly, or the minute my disappearance is known, this information will be out into the world.
Yeah, right.
And all this. So that's when you learn about Hoffman was there from, like, the first movie with Paul's trap in the barbed wire cage.
Yeah.
Hoffman was there to help him with that.
Yep.
Hoffman was here with Amanda as well, so they were intertwined in the story. So it's those little parts there that grow the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Like the main part of the story of who John Kramer was and who helped him and such.
It's all very convenient because you're writing backwards as well. We can be like, well, we didn't see who set up the razor wire.
Exactly. When you're working on flashbacks, it's sort of like...
You can do what you want.
Yeah, you're like, well, we can just have another flashback that we didn't show, and it's like, oh, but this person was here. Oh, very, very
We planned it all along.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like, the game in this movie it doesn't matter.
Not at all, no.
The people in this game are just, they're just a bunch of
really
shit people.
Slapped on there.
It's again just a bunch of shit people that caused the fire, and it was the city's civil people and the guy that set the fire and the girl that authorized it and whatnot, and they're all connected in their own little way, but doesn't add anything to it. It's just, here's a game with no real draw to it other than the two of them escape at the end, and the main FBI guy finds him, and then you're like, oh, okay, so I guess someone survived then.
They did get the actors back again for about 4 seconds of screen time in the last one.
Yeah.
In Saw 3D at the meeting.
Yeah, not too much.
Talk about that.
So, we'll move on to Saw 6 now then. Saw 5 is just the proper pinnacle of this series.
A lot happens, but it's just such a not very good movie.
Just the way it's shot bad. It's got the right drive to the story, but it just doesn't have enough to make it as intriguing as such, because John is majorly gone now.
Yeah.
And it's relying on essentially another Jigsaw to continue this. So then, we move to Saw 6, which, again, this is directed by a new director, Kevin Grotert. I don't know.
I like Grotert.
So another new director, again.
Yeah.
Same producers and stuff as well. This one, $11 million budget. This is where it stings. $68 million box office.
Fuck.
This was the true decline. Yeah. This was when they went, fuck. This is fucked.
But they had a story to wrap up, so they still had to make it.
Yeah.
But like, in the grand scheme of things, 11 million is not that much to make. Like, that's not it's still hit to a production company.
Exactly right. They've still made enough from it, and you take into account like promotional marketing and all that stuff, and deduct that from it. You're still ahead.
You're still ahead, not by much.
But it shows the decline of appeal.
It's not one of those production company killers.
Yeah, no.
Yet.
Exactly right, and as we know, this didn't stop them from creating,
God, no.
more in the future. Was
this around the time the game came out? Remember there was a PS3 game? Was pretty heavily involved?
Yeah, so this was 2009, and
right in the window.
I'm pretty certain it...
Because they got Tobin Bell to do that and stuff, like, it was pretty full on, pretty legit.
Yeah, because they had, what they say, I think Lee Winnell came back to help do the game as well.
Yeah. It was just like a standard puzzle game, but with all the Saw
it was a whack game. I
elements.
remember playing it. I was like,
I never played it.
Yeah, it wasn't anything to write home
I was
about.
going to rent it once, but I didn't.
Yeah, I did rent it.
Yeah.
Didn't play much.
It definitely feels like a rent game. You can grab and buy that.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that game was either for 6 or 5. It was one of the two that they were. So yeah, 6 we just getting more into more of the Hoffman story now. Again, fueling it even further. Of him just again being more of a bad Jigsaw, but still
scrambling,
trying to carry on the Jigsaw legacy in a way.
Knowing how close to fucked he is, like, he just gets a bit worse.
Yeah,
as Jigsaw, and he already wasn't great at it in the first place. So.
Yeah, so this one's Saw 6 is one that's very bent on understanding like survivors of the game and growing into that sort of sense. So again, the same Saw recipe. Start off with a game that is just a random game out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you have the girl and the guy, and they've got to give pounds of flesh to tip the scale in their favour so that these 2 bolts don't drive into their fucking head.
Yeah.
And
fat guy.
It's a big fat guy against a little skinny girl, and he's just cutting off chunks of flesh and fat because fuck it, you got a lot.
He doesn't care.
Waste
She cuts off her alarm.
She cuts off her whole arm, wins the game, and you're expected that she's supposed to now, you know, have learnt a lesson and whatnot because they were lenders for money that, of course, obviously they knew that they were just robbing people of...
Yeah, this one, there must have been like a big corporation story in the news or something when they were writing it, because it's like they take out the money lenders and then they're like the health insurance company is the main bad guy, sort of.
Yeah.
So like in the news there must have been some big health insurance scam or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's full whack. So this is now moving towards Hoffman framing Stram as the Jigsaw accomplice. This is him seeing the hand is latched onto the roof above him where he was squashed.
Yeah.
Hey, I can use those fingerprints to incriminate someone. And just start, you know, fucking around with people and just try and remove himself from the equation.
Pretty much.
And we get the surprise return of Detective Perez. So the other detective woman from Saw 4, the one that gets her face blown up by the puppet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And in Saw 5, we presume that she died.
Yeah.
And it's then come back as...
She's pretty on top.
Oh, no, we hid her from everyone, that she was still alive, just for whatever reasons that cops do what they want to do.
Sees when he's like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, Hoffman's like, what the fuck? Because this isn't good. She's a big witness.
It's crazy, like, these movies start... So, like, every movie starts with a game, and then they just show, like, the last 6 or so minutes of the previous movie.
Yeah.
Like, this one just straight up reused the box going down. They cut a little bit of the fat out of it, and then they just show him getting squished again, and it's just, like, straight up reused. That tickled me. That's what I was looking at just now.
Yeah.
Like, they just straight up reuse it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they love reusing a lot of things.
I guess if you can, it saves money.
Yeah.
I suppose. Like, you're not going to do the whole effect again, but surely there's a way to present that exposition in case someone, for some reason, their first Saw movie is the 6th one.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
I guess they have
No,
to
I don't
show
need to know the
something.
rest of them. I'm going to jump straight to this one.
But, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. I just figured, like, even saving more budget, just sit them down at a table and be like, man, it's crazy that Strum's gone. It's weird that Strum's Jigsaw. Good thing Hoffman was there. Like, they could have just done that and saved so much more money.
I know.
No, they had to license the fucking...
Yep. Get back those old characters.
Movie. Yeah, like...
Get them to come back to do this again. So yeah, the whole aim now is that Detective Perez and Detective Erickson are now going to reopen the case because they're seeing some irregularities with these new Jigsaw cases and that Strum could have done this, but it doesn't seem like he did. So they get the fingerprints, but they're...
Oh, we have another guest on this week's episode.
Yeah, this guest is Siri, but you guys don't know we have a guest yet because that's not coming yet.
Spoilers.
Yeah, so they find that there's irregularities with the fingerprints found on the scene for Strum, and finding out that his fingerprints were basically implanted after he had died.
Yeah.
however cops work this out, whatever.
Like, the timing
It's all science. So it's now, again, a cat and mouse game once again, but now it's with more of the FBI.
And this one, Hoffman is just fucking killing people. He's stabbing security guards in the throat and stuff, setting people on fire. Like the traps gone. He's just scrambling at this minute.
Yeah, he's hell-bent on destruction.
Yeah, I've already killed this many people.
Yeah. Like, so the big game that we get is obviously for the insurance brokers, the disgusting, terrible people of the world.
They denied John some experimental treatment.
Yeah, because he found some dude over in Norway or Sweden or some Euro country where they just go, oh yeah, we'll inject you with this and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you know, it's like a 40%. He's like, it's a 30 to 40. His stats are, it's like a 30 to 40% success rate, and
which
he thinks I'm
good.
And he says I'm the perfect candidate, and you're just like, nah, fuck you. Even though he'd met him at dinner,
and even though John comes from a lot of money, and
it's sort of like,
but it is America, I guess. Like,
and obviously something like that could be, you know, pretty fucking up there. So the main insurance broker, what his fucking name is, William, is put to the test now, and basically his whole crew of workers that work for him.
It's like the Wolf of Wall Street in that opening scene. They're like all on the phone, and it's like,
I found 2 errors in these fucking policies.
You're dropped, it's just like,
and he's gone, you fucking scumbags.
Right?
So yeah,
like they try to make health insurance brokering look cool and exciting, but it's just like, that's one of the most mundane jobs in the world.
Yeah, so it's again, it's these games are probably a lot more, I want to say, better than the fifth games, and it definitely was shown a lot more than the games in 5, and they probably were better than the games that they had in 5, because
this one's a bit more interesting.
This was literally just him trying to save other people. It was essentially the formula for Jeff in the 3rd one, when he's going through and trying to forget the people that
it's not really
killed his son and that.
Yeah, it's not really up to him as much.
Yeah.
It's still sort of like, it is up to him, but it's not affecting him physically, harmfully, you know?
Yeah, only minorly for things he has to try and help the people with, but yeah, he pretty much just fucks over a lot of people in that.
But this one, they throw in the element of like, it's like more of a game. He has to guide that girl through the thing.
Yeah.
And then he also has to like help her out and stuff.
Yeah. There's some fucked up games, like the initial one where him and the janitor are both in the they've got the 2 vices in between them, and they can't breathe until one of them actually dies from getting crushed. Because every time they take a breath, it'll come in closer. Yeah. That was pretty full on. The whole hanging by the barbed wire, the guy and the older secretary lady or whatever. Yeah.
It's like, how do you define someone's worth?
Yeah.
Young and healthy, or with a family?
Yeah.
As with a family.
Basically. So yeah, outside the game is now, we see more of Jill getting involved in this now, because we see what the contents of this box were, and it was John's final game, which there was 6 envelopes, but Jill only gave Hoffman 5, because Hoffman came and was just like, I'm ending this now, give me the 5, give me the envelopes for the thing. After this, we're done. We don't speak ever again.
Yep.
I do my own thing.
Yep.
So she gives up the 5, and this is basically Hoffman going on a spree now, because
as Perez is like closer to figuring out who
they're getting it closer,
he just gets more reckless. And
they're finding out more and more. They're finding that
the voice thingy.
The voice is different. They're going to descramble it to find a true voice. They found that the blade used was different to the original blade, so it's completely different.
All the cop stuff.
It's all that good cop stuff. They just found all these abnormalities, and everything's gonna get fucking. They're gonna basically, if they get this right, then they can really pin it on Strum and publicize it that Strum was the accomplice to Jigsaw.
Not gonna happen again.
Case closed. Whatever reason. And so we get the whole unscrambling of his voice from the tape. He gets invited down there as they're doing it, and they're doing the back and forth cop stuff like, if they did this and why they did that, and then, if he did it, then how could he? And then that's when the voice is slowly de-scrambling in the background, and then she just goes, I got it! And then you hear Hoffman's voice, and then she just goes, he just fucking throws a knife, uses a chick for cover, she gets shot, stabs Perez in the throat, slices.
Hoffman's acting before that is so funny, where he's like mixing the coffee. He's just like, "What? No, I wasn't listening." He's just like, "Oh, who is it? Oh, it doesn't really sound familiar." He's just like a kid getting caught red-handed, doing like with their hand in the cookie jar. Fuck, that made me laugh so much. And then like, just the sheer fucking nonsense of him setting them all on fire.
Yeah, it
just ramps up, like, as soon as he gets caught, he's like, well, fuck it, I'm a straight-up murderer now.
Yep, he's full on just like, well, I mean,
no more elaborate traps.
My games are still going on. So, yeah, in between that all, you get a bit more flashback stories again. So you find Hoffman writing the letter to Amanda from the third one. So we see her pull out a letter in the drawer. Reads and she sort of just like breaks down crying and goes to fucking cut herself, and you never know what that note is until now, and it's basically stating that Hoffman knew that Jill was with Cecil, who caused the miscarriage of Jill's baby from the originals.
Amanda, you mean? Amanda was with Cecil.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Jill.
Yes.
You said Jill twice.
Jill was there.
Okay. I don't care, but
Amanda was there.
Someone would have yelled at you for
Amanda
that.
and Cecil were there.
Yeah.
When Jill lost the baby. Which John doesn't know about.
They get her back as well for about 2 minutes.
Yep, get her for a couple extra scenes and
girl from Becca.
Yep, I'll take another couple thousand.
Should have learned her name, but I didn't.
Which we learned was basically a blackmail ploy to have Amanda kill Lynn, the surgeon that was performing on John. So it's more showing that Hoffman was always trying to start to take control over everything and get everyone else out of the picture. So the big drawback here is then one of the women in the game, the journalist one, finds that letter and gives it to Jill. So then she reads and she's just like, oh, okay. Then what was it all?
Is this the one where she's in the cell, like being protected? Or is
Not
that
yet.
The next one?
Next one. Next one's when it happens. So, she leaves that for Hoffman to see in like his little observatory room at the end of like when William's getting to the end of his game and the big game setup. To sort of ambush him and kind of knocks him out and puts him into a reverse bear trap. A newer model reverse bear trap, redesigned.
A much less effective one, it seems.
Yeah.
Because it didn't do much to him. Like, it hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, but, for
the most part, he was alright.
Yeah,
bit of hot glue and he was alright.
Yeah, and then we find the sixth photo was of Hoffman's. So he was the ending part to this game.
Yeah.
Basically, Jigsaw John wanted to test Hoffman because he himself was starting to realize that there was things going on in the background that didn't seem to make sense, and the whole thing was it's like the whole Amanda situation. He was testing her as well because she was just being a murderer. Basically, that's what Hoffman
John's
was
always
as well.
Somehow 13 steps ahead.
Exactly.
He's like, he's he's an architect, whatever.
Yeah, he knows it all. And so we get the end of William's game, where he makes it to the end, and you see the woman and the son in one side, and then the journalist woman on the other.
Yep.
So you see that the woman and the son were of the guy from the start of the movie that got rejected the insurance.
Yep.
Who obviously died.
Yep.
And the journalist is his partner, and they know who he is because they're like, you denied him for some shitty fucking reason, and now we have the chance to kill you.
Yeah.
Now gives the whole speech and all that about, fuck you, whatever, but she can't bring herself to kill him, and the son just goes, I can, pulls it.
Yeah.
Syringes come down, hydrofluoric acid in the back, melts the cunt.
Not great. Not a great way to go.
No.
That actually
visually didn't look great either.
Quite well, yeah, no, yeah. It was fucking...
When it was properly melting outside, you were just like, ooh,
ooh.
Just threw a bit of a wavy effect in after edits there to get that going.
Bit of MS Paint.
Yeah, yeah. So once that all happens, you just get Jill leaving the room with Hoffman to count down the timer, and as the whole ending, the big Hello Zep theme plays, and it's all the quick cuts.
Yep. Of
Hoffman sketching out. Then you see him start breaking his hand with the bear trap. Releases his hand, gets out, and ever so smartly whacks his mouth into the small glass window of the door to stop the bear trap's full open. Rips half his face, takes it off, screams out in agony. Movie ends. We get Saw 6.
Yep.
So we get Saw 6
nothing
as
else to add
just
to this matter.
Yeah. It was a very, very pure decline in a lot of aspects. This one had a lot more potential with the whole getting closer to Hoffman as the accomplice to everything.
Yeah. But he just kills all the cops, so there's no real consequence.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they found out, but now they're all dead, and now no one's going to know again.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to pin Hoffman as very, very smart.
Yeah.
And like he is in a way, but he's just more brute.
He's more ruthless. He's just scrambling. He's like a man on the run.
Yeah.
So he always has to be on the edge, pretty much, of just snapping like that, and he does, and you see it. But yeah, smarter, I don't think so. John's still the higher being.
Still the smart guy that had a plan still throughout this whole thing. Get Jill involved again to try and end this with Hoffman, which is obviously failed now.
Yep.
You get again just the game aspect thrown in again, just to have the games going, add that torture porny vibe again to it, to really
make
drive
it Saw. Otherwise, it would literally just be The Bold and the Beautiful.
It would just be The Bold and the Beautiful. So yeah, it's understandable why this movie definitely dropped the ball.
But they still knew they were going to do another one because they didn't kill Hoffman, so fuck it.
They still didn't kill Hoffman. They still knew that they had more to go. And they went and made the great idea of titling the next entry as Saw 3D.
Saw 3D, the final chapter. Which is just the worst title. 3D was already a bit passé at this point as well. No, it was before it was passé, never mind. This is at the very beginning of 3D.
I don't know who had the idea of sitting in that boardroom going, if we're going to do another one, we're going to do it 3D.
Well, Friday the 13th did it, and it was bad.
Because 3D fucking sucks.
Yeah.
If you like 3D movies, you're a donkey. Because 3D movies are fucking dumb.
Yeah, I've never met a single person who was like, yeah, I prefer to see that in 3D.
Because
it's so weird.
It is shit CGI.
It's not good.
Because if you try to render something as a 3D object, it has to be properly rendered in as an inanimate object, and it just looks dumb because it's just trying to make you feel something at the cinema or something.
Yeah.
And not everyone has a 3D television, so you release that out on VOD, and no one has a 3D television to fucking see it.
A movie with the gimmicks that just look out of place.
Yeah,
because
you get those things thrown at the screen, and you're just like,
what? That's weird. It's a weird shot. The CG
I can
looks
just
bad.
see how bad that looks. So,
and even as a title, like fucking Saw 3D, but it's the 7th movie.
I know.
Like, what are you doing?
You could have just left it as Saw, the final chapter.
Yeah.
And then that's effective.
Spy Kids 3D, it's the third Spy Kids movie. So
exactly, yeah. But Spy Kids 3D is fucking brilliant.
That's a banger.
It is a banger.
Maybe the producer of this movie just, his kids watched Spy Kids 3D and he was like, fuck it, let's do that.
Yeah. So
the start of this one fucking annoyed me so bad.
So we'll get to the quick semester of the first. So directed by the same guy from Six, Kevin Grutert. Everything else the same. This one got given a $20 million budget.
Ooh.
Obviously because they shot purely straight on a 3D camera.
3D cameras are very expensive.
They didn't just do a 3D render in editing. They just went straight, we'll just use the 3D cameras, fuck ya, and make it look amazing.
Harder to shoot with, more expensive.
But this one picked up in the box office though, $136 million.
Oh, there you go. People gave a shit again
it
for
did
some reason.
come back up. I think probably because it gave the title the final chapter, so people want to see how a franchise this long is going to end. Regardless of what it was going to be, everyone's going to be like, I kind of have to see what it's going to look like in the end.
And that's really what you want when you make a piece of art, is people reluctantly feeling obligated to go and see it.
Yeah. So
what a compliment.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's even worse. So the Rotten Tomato score?
So what was the last one? 13?
13.
Oh, this one's if the budget's bigger, I reckon this one's 21. I'm going to say 21.
You're going to say 21? Would you be mad if I said it's less than 13?
I believe it.
10%.
Fucking hell.
On the RT score.
10.
Yes. It was
God
given.
Damn it.
It was, yeah. It was not well received critically.
That's atrocious.
It is very bad.
That's horrible.
So if you don't know about the Saw movies and you go back and you look at just like the RT scores and you see this and you go, I'm not going to watch these movies.
No, God no.
If somebody's been given 10%...
Unless you do a podcast, you are not watching these movies.
Exactly right. Or if you've been there from the start and you just watch it slowly dwindle into madness and you go, oh, I've been here since the start, I'm just going to have to finish watching it.
And like, A Nightmare on Elm Street fell off and had a couple of dungers, but then it came back, finished strongly with New Nightmare, so maybe people were just like, maybe this one's good.
Yeah. So the big...
It's not good.
The big ploy for this was, this wasn't supposed to be the last one. It was supposed to be this plus an 8th film.
No.
But because of the reception of the 6th one and how poorly it did, they went, we'll give you one more.
Give this one the chance.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So they went, fuck, alright. We
Go
have our ideas for the 8th one.
Go for broke, do a gimmick.
They got to incorporate what they wanted to have planned for the 8th one into this, which is always going to be a mess of a movie. It never works. You can't, if you have an idea for a solo movie, you can't incorporate it into another movie because it's going to be rushed. It's going to be yuck. And this was yuck because it was 3D. So from the start it was yuck. Incorporating 2 stories, even more yuck.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to wrap up a story as well.
Yeah, you've only got an hour and a half to do it.
So this one was funny because Brooke came in when I was starting to watch this one the other night. And as I said, so the start to this movie, again...
It makes
Saw recipe,
no fucking sense.
It's a trap. But it
public.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's on display. How? Like, you're not supposed to... If you ask, how did he make these traps? In the last movies, you just go, yeah, whatever, he's smart, good at engineering.
Yeah.
But this one, he's, like, in a public space. Like, he would have had to rent the space.
Somehow,
under his name, he would have had to put curtains up.
It was a big little setup, too. It's not like you can just go in there at night in a public square.
It's in the middle of a square, yeah.
Where there's a lot of foot traffic. And there's always kids hanging out in these places at night.
Yeah, like,
someone would have fucking seen something going on.
It's so dumb.
So the trap, yeah, go on.
I thought it was going to be like, Saw, he's like a joke. Jigsaw is like a joke, and it was a theme park display or something. Like they were going to not actually get cut, and everyone's like, oh, it's performance art. Yeah, well done, well done. But then she actually gets cut in half, and I was just like, oh no. And that's when I started asking these questions. I was just like, how?
Yeah, because everything else is always like they've been kidnapped and dragged and hidden away in like a barn or a fucking underground tunnel or something.
Yeah. And there's 200 people there watching, and not one of them, someone sort of knocks it with a briefcase.
Yeah, and you're like, well,
if you see like in a public forum like that, if there's like a little fender bender car crash, everyone rushes over to help and like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, that's how people work. That's how a large group of people, we instinctively want to help people,
but not in movies.
But then we have one little old lady with a briefcase go, like that, and then the cops come and tell them to get back. They don't turn around and go, how do we get in there and help?
Yeah,
they go, no, the crowd, stop.
Go on, hold on.
And that's why I thought it was performance. Yeah, that's why I thought it was like, Jigsaw is a joke.
Yeah, so
Jigsaw is a joke. These movies are a fucking joke.
To describe the trap of this one, it is just it's a glass box. And it's like a lumber cutting setup, so it's like supposed to be like chainsaws and
saw
concrete and that. So yeah, it's 2 guys on an end of a bench with 2 diamond saws on each side, on like a trolley system here, and then we see there's a woman above them who's suspended above another saw going upways, and the whole thing of this is, One of them is the boyfriend, one of them is the side piece. To her.
So fucking stupid.
And this is the one that's just like...
It's like, who loves her more? This is the
one you can't understand, because you look at this and you go, Jigsaw doesn't have time for this bullshit. She's just cheating.
Yeah.
She hasn't killed anyone.
When Jigsaw started, it was people who don't appreciate life.
This is some young college love where
she's just like, cheating's bad.
Yeah. And they're just going, alright, well, now you deserve to die. So, this one instantly fucks with me, because I'm like, no way.
And again,
that Hoffman got this one and was just like, yes, this is part of John's legacy.
People don't work this way. The two dudes go, oh, well, she deserves to die. It's just like, no, you would just be like, I need to survive. Just fucking yeet. Like, you wouldn't sit there and have the conversation and be like, but Joni loves me more. Joni.
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole thing.
They wouldn't do that.
It's they learn that she's cheering for whoever's sort of winning in that fight there. As well as that, it's sort of like the one time where they actually listen and don't fight it out and just go, oh, she's meant to die.
Yeah.
We're just meant to just let it happen. So it's smart in that one sense that, like, they're smart enough to figure it out, even though this trap makes no sense to the whole series. Because I want that question of, did Hoffman set this up? Was this one that was set in the past?
Yeah.
Because it just happens and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It is gone completely.
Yeah, Hoffman's not like, I went to a college party and I was really offended by this girl cheating on her boyfriend.
Yeah, this was literally just him setting up a
It's
trap.
not like his relative is getting cheated on. Like, Hoffman is just not connected to it at all. It's just... It makes no sense. It's the worst cold opening.
Like, every other opening is fine because you're in an underground trap sort of thing. And whatever reason, they're actually a bad person for doing something very bad.
Yeah, or they don't appreciate life, whatever. That's fine.
But it's as it is. This is a public forum display.
Every single bit about it is wrong and bad.
Exactly. Oh,
God.
It's fucking dumb.
But then later it comes back, like, one of the later traps is a bunch of racists and stuff. So you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Hoffman's like, he's not just doing it. He's still got his moral compass thing, whatever he's doing. Like, it's so stupid.
But in the same sense, like, in the term of that one's more set of, like, a diversion-y type thing to get closer to getting to where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's just the start of this movie. That is just the first scene of this movie, is this whole public forum display.
It's so bad.
That is fully fucked. So, this is now where Jill takes more of a turn in this movie and is now seeking the safety of the police because she saw that Hoffman survived and is like, fuck. I'm a little girl, he's a big man, I can't do anything now, he's gonna fucking ruin me.
Yeah.
And this movie is now Hoffman hell-bent on revenge.
Yep.
He's just like, he's like, the other game's running, that's fine, but I'm gonna kill this bitch. She has to fucking die.
Still had time to set up the other game, though.
Yeah, so it's her confessing and saying that she'll go up to court to say Hoffman is the accomplice and whatnot. All she needs is the safety from the police so that he doesn't try to come for her because she knows that he will try to come for her. So we get a new cop in this whole scenario, Detective Gibson, who is leading the Jigsaw case now. It's just another new cop out of nowhere. It's just like, these movies can't survive without having some sort of cops be part of it. I get it, it's a serial killer type case, but you can have one without the cops.
Yeah, you could have just done straight up like Hoffman hunting Jill trying to survive. Maybe going, like, it would have been cool if she went to like John's workshop and was like, what can I use here to survive, you know? And then she doesn't become Jigsaw, but she utilizes the traps, like, really roughly or something. Like, all of the movies I write are always shit, but this one's actually good.
Mm.
Yeah, she goes, sets up some of the traps and stuff in case Hoffman comes in. Hoffman is a couple of steps ahead or whatever, so he avoids all the traps, but then Jill, I don't know, just fucking shoots him in the face or something, movie ends. Yeah. There you go. It should have been that, but no, they had to just go, cops again.
Yeah, that's take the long way.
Yeah.
So set up with this cop, Detective Gibson, who knows of Hoffman through a previous meeting where he killed a bum that tried to like rob Gibson of whatever, and he's just like, he's like, you owe me one now, and he ended up
brutality.
And he ended up actually just putting in a report of brutality against Hoffman, so now Hoffman's sort of had it out against him.
Yeah,
he was like, you're a dick now, fuck you. But yeah, so the next part through it all after getting all the protection and all that through Jill is getting the Skinhead Gang now, where we get our boy Chester Bennington of Linkin Park.
I did not. I had no idea he was in it.
Yeah, you would never have known.
Quite unpleasant.
Like that.
Yeah, it was quite a rude shock. I was already like, "Fuck, this movie sucks," and now like this guy that I just love is in it. And I had to be reminded that he's dead in real life. I was just like, "Fuck, I did not need this."
Yeah. So
and his death in this movie is fucked. Like the glue. See, like that's some beautiful practical makeup.
That one was really good.
Because they actually made the full back piece.
Yeah.
And like they're tearing it off and stuff, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
But
it's one of the only good practical effects of this movie, because the rest of it, so obviously this trap sets off a chain of events. He's in a car that's
the only good looking part, like, is the back.
So he's in a car that's lifted up on a jack. He's got to reach through the window and pull this lever, but he's glued to the back of the seat. He's got fucking 30 seconds to do this. So there's a guy chained to the garage door. There is a woman
under the tire,
like head under the tire, and a barbed wire little trap that she's trapped in, and a guy at the back who's got chains on his arms and one through his mouth.
Tied to the car, which will drive forward.
So it's a big chain of events that's going to happen. Obviously, he fails, and the chain of events looks good, kind of.
The trap works.
Mechanically,
it works, but it doesn't look great.
But the actual visualization of it happening is the minute that car drops on the chick, you can instantly see that it's just a mannequin.
PlayStation 3 CG.
Very bad. When the guy has his then arms and things ripped off, you can physically see that as a mannequin standing there because it all rips off so perfectly. Yeah. And it looks stupid because he's a skinhead as well.
Yeah.
And then the other one just gets like driven into, and then Chester just gets floored straight and comes straight to a dead stop and goes straight through the window.
Yeah.
Ripped back and all.
Yep.
And you're like, okay.
It's cool. Elaborate, but we can give him that.
Yeah. So the main driving game to this one is now this label him as a self-help guru of sorts. He's a guy that has written a book about surviving a jigsaw trap.
I quite like this idea.
It's a decent idea. It is different.
And
it works.
Someone watching the news of survivors and getting clout and stuff. And
created a story.
Going on Ellen and all that shit.
Yeah, get the full lowdown of, how he, what his trap entailed, what it did to him, what it cost him, X, Y, and Z. Make a book about it.
Yeah.
Become nationally famous of being a strong survivor and helping people and whatnot to just survive and shit. So his whole thing is he's bullshitting. He's never been in a jigsaw trap before.
Yeah, he's just using it to...
He's just seen it all and been like, oh yeah.
And his whole team is in on it. His PR, his consultant and all that.
Yeah, and like, I can coast off this for sure, definitely. So he's doing all his television appearances and that. And then he's going to make an appearance at a actual Jigsaw Survivor council session.
Yeah.
An actual group of actual people who did survive traps. And some of the actors that we did see in those traps, were able to get back and do a quick little group therapy session about it.
Yeah, you got the girl who cut her arm off, you got the
you got the older woman from 6 who got saved.
Didn't get hanged, yeah. The guy, the pint of blood guy, he's got like scars and stuff, yeah.
Then a couple others that would obviously just, games that we didn't see or
whatever.
That happened in that. And then, the girl from the last one that cut her arm off, and she's the one that's full, going off like, what the fuck am I supposed to learn from this? So she's that sort of little bit of shining light that's like showing that what John's philosophy was is not exactly true.
And and all the jokes about Saw, you survive, but you get horrifically maimed, and mentally the trauma is just not worth living through. So you might as well just die in the trap because it's not you're not living after you live.
It's the same. It's the same point that Amanda brings up and that Hoffman has, is that these people aren't going to learn from this. No one's going to change. These people won't change.
And that's clever in the first inkling that the guy's full of shit because they don't give that away straight away.
Yeah,
I didn't pick up on it, but
no, if you haven't seen it before and you don't know about the plot, then you wouldn't think anything of it until the game starts and it's then announced.
And then I actually gasped. I gasped When
Yes.
Carrie Elwes is back.
Dr. Lawrence Gordon comes back, hiding in the shadows.
Very fat and sad and looks like a Dr. Evil villain.
Very Dr. Evil looking. He's very limpy and has his own little say in this little group, and you get the view of, hey, Dr. Gordon is back.
Why?
Now, for you, this is a shock. For me, when this was announced, this was in the trailer.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
It was given away.
Yeah, right.
That Dr. Gordon was coming back. So it took away a big shock factor for me, because I'm like, okay, I know he has a part in it.
Yeah, well, so I'm giving this movie more credit. The credit that it wanted without the
What
promotion.
it would have been had you not have seen the trailers for this, it would have been fine. Now, a bit of backstory to this for me, as a Saw fan from nearly from the start.
From way back?
They had, this was back when the movies were coming all out and the stories were piecing themselves together, and there was fan theories on YouTube and that, and people wondering, is Dr. Gordon alive? Like the whole is Dr. Gordon alive thing was a big thing in the Saw community before these movies came out. And there was the fan theories of, all these games that involve some sort of surgical need.
Yeah.
Surely the only person that could have done that would have been Dr. Gordon.
Yeah.
The big giveaway that people drew to was, this was back when a lot of movies had their own websites. So there was a Saw website, and it had a victims page, which was all the victims of the games, and it would have a status of them, either alive, deceased. In Dr. Gordon's case, unknown.
All right.
So it was a big, okay, they're really coasting off we haven't seen him since the first one.
Yeah.
Since he cut his leg off and crawled out of this room. We haven't seen anything. So, very much true that maybe he's alive. And it was something that the directors, the execs, the producers, everything were all tight-lipped on. We don't know if he's alive. He might be.
So then the trailer
He might
comes
just
along.
be dead. Trailer comes along and goes, yeah, Dr. Gordon's alive. And you go, everyone in the community just went,
oh, yeah. And that would 100% be another casualty of the last movie underperforming so badly.
Exactly. Because
fuck, we need to get people back. People like the first one, go.
Yeah, it was the whole Star Wars Rise of Skywalker showing Palpatine in the trailer, and everyone's like, oh,
come on, man, that would have been a cool reveal.
Exactly. It would have made it better than...
And it was a cool reveal, because I didn't know, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. See, for you, it's perfect. You had the perfect setup for this, where I think you actually get the shock.
So actually, I like this movie more than 10% just because of that moment, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Dr. Gordon's coming back is a big shout in the whole community, and the theories that I had read about and I thought were true definitely came to fruition in this movie, and I was like, I was fucking right.
Yeah, right.
I believe this shit, and I pieced it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds perfect, and it was spot on. So yeah, he comes back, does his little thing, and we said that he's alive. Dr. Gordon is back.
Fuck, he's barely in it. He is barely in it.
It's barely in it. And then we start moving towards the big game, which is the guy that's bullshitting about being in the trap and surviving. He's now kidnapped and been put into a game.
Save his wife.
Yeah, and his whole team. Again, it's the whole thing of you got a crew, they're now all part of it.
Yep.
But this is a one by one, so a big chance you can save all these people. And I don't know, some of the traps in this are okay-ish, but they're also not at the same time.
But they just look really bad. The one with the poles going into the eyes looks absolutely atrocious. Full-on PlayStation 3 spec.
Very bad.
Looks terrible.
So the main issue is the 3D aspect.
Yeah.
And that they used more CGI blood than they did physical blood like they did in all the other ones.
Yeah, and it's bright red. It's
that, but in other times it's just pink.
Yeah.
It's
so fucking
dish-soaked pink.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you go, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It does not look good.
And it's R, so they could have done...
Yeah.
Still not bright pink blood. Yeah.
Exactly. Just have it as the physical stuff that you always did. So...
what a fucking piece of garbage this movie is.
The rest of the traps, the guy that has to navigate his way through by listening to
the hangman thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty weak trap. That's just a guy getting hung, and meh.
Yeah, it's another one where it's just like, yeah, okay, he can survive, but he's panicked. Like, he's not going to survive. He's obviously not going to survive.
Yeah.
There's no tension.
Yeah, so there's...
But this one does have the one we both said we would never want to do, which is the teeth.
Yes, exactly.
So you got to pull his teeth out. I hate that.
2 wisdom teeth, and they've both got the 2 numbers etched on each one.
I had to fast forward through that bit. Like, I was like, even if the effect's bad, I still don't want to see or hear it.
I will give him that one. That one they executed really well.
Maybe I'll have to watch it on YouTube because I fast forwarded. I was
that
like,
one
I
they
can't
do really
watch
well
this.
to him to have it like the vice in there and the way he like actually like punches it and shit to try and like rip his teeth out.
Yuck.
It's like a real thing of like, so he gets the first one and then the second one he basically holds it and then rams himself into the wall to try and get more leverage to rip it, and it's full on. I'll give him that one did actually look good because it wasn't anything dramatic they had to do. They just had to go and just hold this in your mouth and look like you're pulling your teeth out, and then we'll just put a bit of blood in your mouth.
And the concept as well, like nobody wants to do that.
Exactly, that was a very effective one for sure. And the big end to his one is he gets to his wife and he has to do the lie that he said.
Yeah. So his lie was he held himself up through his pec muscles and escaped, whatever. So, of course, in this one he has to pierce them and
got
hold
to put
himself
the
up.
2 hooks in his pec muscles and climb up and hook up this, well, just a power cord.
It's literally just an extension cord.
It is just an extension cord. Hook up the extension cord and your wife will be let go. And as he's about to do it, the hook's ripped through his muscles, he falls to the ground, and there's 1 second left on the clock, and she just gets turned into a furnace.
Yeah, and the furnace is like this big elaborate like spaceship thing. Like, why did they do that?
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it builds around her and stuff. Like, why did they just set her on fire? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so weird. Such a weird movie.
Yeah, so that's just the main game part. This is a game that doesn't fucking matter for the rest of this. The biggest part of this movie is just the Hoffman chase trying to get Jill. So basically Hoffman just completely gives himself away to the cops. He films the videos of his face.
Yeah.
And it's just saying, give me Jill.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, I'm going to get her, so it's either you give her to me, I'm just going to come take her. And it's just all clues of where Hoffman is so they can try and locate him and do the cop thing of, aha, we found you in this.
It's like where he killed the hobo.
Yep, so it's... they then find that his setup is at that junkyard where he kills Chester and his skinhead gang. We then get the smart look of Hoffman here, who we get a little bit more scenarios of. He detonated one of the cars in the junkyard on purpose.
Yep.
Get everyone out of the garage, take out one of the dead bodies, put it in his little hideout room, and then jump in the body bag himself up. Knows he's going to get taken to the police station. Coroner's office, wherever. So they get there, they find the body, that it's just one of the dead bodies.
Well, the dead body he uses is the one that's just a torso. It got everything ripped off, right?
Yeah.
So the weight difference in the body bag would be insane.
Exactly.
They would notice straight away.
You'd think they'd be like, ooh.
Like, holy fuck,
feel like there's a couple arms in here.
And like in Saw 4, they make such a point about he's the brawn, he's the burly guy who lifts everyone up, so he's clearly like heavy as fuck.
He's well built, 100%.
He's not just a torso with no limbs. Like
no, this guy just didn't have arms or a mouth, and you go, it's definitely going to take off a bit of weight.
And you would assume they would, like, I don't know, have another look.
Yeah, maybe. Surely they weren't completely done.
Like another cop would come in and go, oh, what's this one?
Yeah, just open and be like, oh, it's that one, without the mouth.
That would have been funny, Hoffman just lying there going, oh. If this is like a dumb slapstick movie, like,
and busted! So, yeah, you get, they find his little
This is why we don't write movies.
We're not good to write the movies. We get the room, they see that it's the dead body, the door locks, and a mini turret gun just out of the corner of the room.
Full Breaking Bad, like...
Breaking
Bad, but
Predator style off the shoulder, just comes up and then just shoots them all and fucking melts them. And you're like, full on.
Why not?
And, then we just get the...
But that makes sense, too, in the context of, like, He definitely would have planned.
It
He
does.
would have had fail safes.
It goes good there to showing that Hoffman will literally just kill everyone
Yeah.
to protect his identity.
Fucking ruthless motherfucker.
And yeah, so now we get the big montage of him going back to the cop station and him on a proper hellbent path of just taking one knife
Full on.
to everyone's throat and just going straight up
Throwing
the
people
jaw.
through mirrors and shit. It's like fucking...
And you're like, I got that as like, I'm like, this is actually like some action.
Yep.
This is different. This is him just actually going, fucking, and down you go. Completely just silent and everything. Makes his way all the way to the holding cells. Fucks up both guys watching Jill. And then she sees what's happening and sees Hoffman and she's
shitting herself.
does the whole, she knows she's fully fucked. Tries to run and hide from her. Doesn't work. He finds her in like the evidence room of the Jigsaw case. Knocks her out, puts her on a chair, straps her down, goes to grab reverse bear trap, and then they do the good cinema thing of pan the camera across. There's the original bear trap.
Yeah.
He's like, that one.
And
Puts it on
that's
her.
just like, fans of the whole series will get a kick out of this, but
Yep.
no one fucking cares at this point.
Puts it on her. She gets fucked up because she's not smart, and her face gets ripped apart, which looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that
Her whole
effect
face
was-
is just
yeah,
there, just like, you're like, kill.
quite uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yep. So Jill's dead. She's gone. And Hoffman is pretty much good to go.
Free to go. Yeah.
And
That's the end of that chapter.
he's killed a whole another police
Pretty
precinct
much.
now, and you're like, okay. Here's the big thing that like sort of dragged from me in this as well was no mention of the burning down of the
Nope.
of the forensic lab there with Perez and Aries and all that in it. You're just like,
It's like, he killed a homeless man. This monster.
I'm like, surely there should be some like take of like at least like a background thing of being like someone came and burnt down all these people and we're missing some big detectives on this case, but all you get
And
is
a lot of evidence. Yeah.
all you get is this new young detective on the case now, and you're like, they were big parts of like the old movies.
Yep.
Are we not going to at least mention them?
Well, that would have been another cramming two movies into one symptom of that.
Yeah, but yeah, you just get another full dead police precinct, and Hoffman's warpath continues.
So how does Hoffman...
So
I don't remember how this ends.
okay, so this now ends. Hoffman is going to destroy his workshop, sets everything on fire, blows up the building, destroy all his evidence. Obviously, this was the end of the games. He's now just going to run off and go into hiding, whatever. His identity is essentially protected now anyway. No one else knows that it's him.
Everyone's fucking dead.
Everyone's dead. There's no cops left in this city. Everyone's fucked. And then he is abducted by 3 pigmask men. And you go,
Oh,
ooh,
yeah, that's right. Of course.
what's going on here? And then we find that Lawrence Gordon is one of the pigmask men. And you go, oh, this is when the shock factor came in of being like, okay, he is part of this still.
Yeah.
Because seeing him in that survivor group, you're like, oh, maybe he just went back to
Yeah, I
being
thought
a
that was going
doctor.
to be it, yeah.
and whatnot. But no, we see that he is still part of this. And then we get the Dr. Gordon flashback reference of everything he's done with John. So when John left the room in the first movie and saw that Dr. Gordon had cauterized his leg on a pipe, obviously he's a doctor, he knows what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And then he nurses him back to health, gives him the boot and whatnot, and then sort of he becomes not as much an accomplice to John,
Yeah.
just more of like a bit of help.
Like a contractor.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, hey, I
surgery.
need a key put behind someone's eye, and I need these things done in the teeth and whatnot. He's just like,
Sure.
yeah, okay. He just kind of jumps on board. Obviously, he's one of the people that sort of gets the philosophy of John,
Yep.
and has been there pretty much from the start to help him, and just learned that Dr. Gordon's been there from the start in the background, just doing these little things that Hoffman never knew of and Amanda never knew of, and then we just get the package of the box that Jill got from John's will, finding videotape and that, explaining to Dr. Gordon that if anything is to happen to Jill, Dr. Gordon must take immediate action. So he's basically like just like a guardian angel to Jill.
Pretty much.
Essentially, to just watch over her, make sure nothing happens to her. I trust you more than anyone else I've ever had with me. I trust you to do the right thing. And does the right thing. He throws Hoffman into the bathroom from the first movie. Dead skeletons are there. Lee Whannell's old clothes are there on a skeleton. Leaves him in there. Takes out the hacksaw. Closes the door. Yells game over.
That's it.
Game over.
Well, it's not it because there's still one more movie.
There's one more movie. There's one more movie in this franchise.
Which we do not have to go that more in depth.
We don't have to go too much in depth because it is a dumb movie. So Saw 3D is a bad movie. The 3D aspect sucks. The majority of the plot sucks. Other than, see, that's the thing. I hate this movie so much, but the last 15 minutes I love in most of the franchise.
Really?
Just because of Dr. Gordon coming back.
Yeah, right.
But the thing of just getting flashbacks of him being there, I'm like, I wanted more of that throughout it because he came back as like a shining light of a character, being like, he's original from the first one. He's still been there. I want more of that story to know what his further role would have been with John. But no, that's what we get. So I just like that ending of the story being, okay, now Hoffman's fucked and Dr. Gordon is now the only person left that knows of John's philosophy and whatnot and what he's done and shit. And then that was going to be the end of it. Until 7 years later.
Until
we get surfaces of rumours of a new Saw installment to come. Very marketed very differently to others. Obviously, this is 2017, so this is more in the realm of movies and bigger marketing material and stuff like that. So, doing little vignette teaser videos and posters and such and creating a new website is a good way to sort of gauge what reception would be like for this. And it's still got great reception. Everyone's like, oh fuck, another Saw movie. They all sucked, but fuck yeah, I'll take another one.
Have another one? Yeah, why not? It's
sure,
been long enough.
And their whole marketing to this movie was sort of like a lot of like random people like butchers and nurses and people, and they're all, it's sort of saying like, he lives in all of us, and sort of bringing out like this is going to be like a more culty thing now, like everyone knows of the Jigsaw murders, and there's copycats and people that fantasize about it all now, and it's now a big thing to what it was. And then you sort of got the movie and it was completely opposite to that, of all the promo material.
Just another Saw movie.
And so
straight up another sequel.
This one we just got called as Jigsaw. It's the 8th film in the franchise. It is a 10-year after the last events of Saw 3D. So it's still a continuation, but further in the future.
Boy, howdy, is this one a stinker.
This is a stinker. This was directed
absolute stinker
by the Spearig brothers. More directors, new directors again.
Sure.
Knocked down to a $10 million budget.
Yeah, it shows.
$103 million return in the box.
This is, in Australia, it got dumped straight to Netflix.
No, it was cinema release.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember that. Me and Emily saw it in the cinemas. It was cinematic.
Why?
It was disappointing.
God, it's atrocious. This movie is fucking atrocious.
Like, I liked seeing another Saw movie and seeing it in the cinemas for what it was, and I think it was just because I hadn't had anything for 7 years and I wasn't satisfied by the end of the series.
Yeah.
So it's just more of a hunger to be like, I just like it because it was another Saw movie. But then actually,
did nothing different.
Looking into it, I'm like, this could have never happened, and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
I could have waited for Spiral, and I'd be happy.
God,
so, Jigsaw, in a nutshell, is the 10 years has passed since the last events of the Jigsaw cases, and it now seems a new game has started up. More new cops are on this case again now, tracing this shit, and we're getting this new game starts that by the end of it we find out happened 10 years ago.
Why? Why did they do this?
It happened not 10 years, like even further, because it's actually one of John's first games.
Yeah. But he looks so old and so fucked up.
Obviously, because it's so...
Because that's how human beings
13
age.
years after Tobin Bell first started Saw, and they're like, kind of hard to
they didn't try to
13
de-age him
years.
or anything.
It was like bringing back Ian McKellen for Gandalf in The Hobbit, and you're like, oh god, he is not looking good.
No.
But it's set fucking
terrible.
60 years before Lord of the Rings, so you're like, okay.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Ages backwards.
So the whole thing is, we learn of John's first accomplice as being Logan, I think his name was, who is a cop now who leads the other cop to basically his death, and is sort of like, yeah, nah, this is like, the games happened back then, and I started this new game now.
Identical.
But
to the last
yeah,
one.
like I'm just recreating this in my own way, but it's exactly the same, but we don't see that.
Nope.
We see the previous game, but then...
Yeah, the previous game plays out in real time.
Yeah.
As the cop story is happening. So there's two timelines of this movie. There's 10 years ago and there's the cop story now.
Yeah.
But they play at the same time.
Yeah.
For no reason at all.
Yeah. So we eventually learn that the same game is being played, but what the game we're seeing is the past game. So the future one, you just got no idea who is in this
Doesn't
game.
matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Because
but it is happening.
It's happening.
It
Of course, it's happening. Because the ending, we get the last two people in this room and John is still alive. And you're like, that doesn't work out. Instantly from this movie, you know that this movie's set in the past.
It has to be.
It's very apparent that John Kramer is dead. There is no chance. He's not Michael Myers. He's not Freddy Krueger. He's not Jason Voorhees. The cunt's dead. He had cancer and he died and he got his
We watched
slit
his
throat.
autopsy.
That all happened. This is 100% set in the past. So why the fuck am I watching this like it's happening now?
So fucking bad.
And the whole ending to this movie is just, oh yeah, I was John's first accomplice and now I'm doing a game myself, but I wasn't involved in anything after the first game.
Nope.
This guy was just...
I just went and I was in the war and now I'm a coroner.
Yeah, he did this first game because
Why?
his whole thing was he worked at the hospital and he mixed up the X-ray scans of John's X-rays for his cancer. So it was an honest mistake. That's why John saved him. Because he's like, I shouldn't punish him for an honest mistake. He just accidentally mixed up the tags, and then basically if he didn't do that, John could have been saved and cured, and then he wouldn't have had Saw. So he's like, oh, can't punish you. It's a mistake. Come on. Come have some fun with me. And yeah, you just get the other main cop dies because the guy reveals himself as being an accomplice. The movie ends and you're like...
It's such a nothing movie. Like, we're only talking about this for 5 minutes because there's nothing more to
There's
say.
no substance. The whole game's a shit.
I think they were trying to kick off another franchise to get the cash cow milking again.
Yeah.
But everyone was just like, this is just shit. It's just a shit movie.
It added nothing to it.
Yeah, there's no point.
It added no further, like, future to the plot. It barely brought up the previous plot because all you got was like, oh yeah, this was John's first thing in Jill's farm. And there's now another accomplice. But the big take back is now, okay, so that guy just up and left John for 10, 15 years, became a cop, and then eventually came back many years after the events of the last case and went, fuck it, I'll do a game.
Yeah.
I'll do the
like
same
he wasn't
one.
watching all these games happening and going, oh, I should get in on that.
Yeah, it's like he was just never there.
I should go and be involved in one of them, help him set up or something. Like,
yeah.
He would want to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, fuck it, 10 years, 13 years, I'll just be a cop.
Yeah, for some reason they thought they could try to chuck this in and say, yeah, this is a good idea for a plot.
It's not.
For this
Not
movie.
a good idea.
And it really fucking wasn't. It
Bad
nearly ruined the rest of the franchise.
Just by being shit.
It just made itself a part of the series for no good reason, and you're left with nothingness. It's
one of those movies you forget the second you watch it.
I got it, and I'm just like, okay, but what has that done for me? Like,
Nothing.
what have I gotten out of this? I didn't get any furtherness. Like, you then set up, like, the movie ends and you're like, okay, so are we now getting a new set with this guy's now Jigsaw, or like what?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say anything else about this movie. Like, I didn't even bother rewatching it. I just watched a recap and I went, oh.
Yeah, it's a stinker. It's a full-blown stinker.
I'll go back and watch from 5 to 7, 14 times more until I watch that one.
Yeah.
Because it is a stinker. It means nothing to the franchise. If you want to watch the Saw franchise, watch all of them bar Jigsaw.
It was such a half-hearted attempt to get the ball rolling again, but
yeah,
it just absolutely didn't happen.
The gore aspect of it was minimal.
One of the traps is like corns dropping on them, like grain is dropping on them, and then some knives.
Those
sometimes.
Grains. Yeah, and you're like,
so I'm not scared of grain falling on me.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that'd be an inconvenience, and yeah.
Where did he get all the grain if it's an abandoned farm?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sucks.
So that's where the franchise left off.
That's it. That's where we're at.
Until we get the announcement of Spiral, the Chris Rock written Saw take.
Because all the announcements were just like, oh, Chris Rock's in the next Saw. That's all the headlines were.
Yeah.
It was like,
we're saying Chris Rock wants to do Saw.
We didn't know there was another Saw coming. And it's like, now, and then it came out more. It's like, yeah, Chris Rock's actually behind it.
Yeah.
It's his idea.
He's been a fan since the first one in 2004. He always wanted to do something for it. That they've come out to say that Spiral is going to be canon with the rest of the films. It's not going to be a sequel to Jigsaw.
Thank God.
And it's not going to be a reboot. It is just going to be it's going to serve in the same universe. Again, set probably a few years after again. But no relation to Jigsaw. That's obviously them going, because it was shit, and we don't need to expand on that story. We'll let Chris Rock and Sam Jackson
it's like
come in and...
Spiral, a Star Wars story.
Exactly.
It's just a little offshoot.
And I'm very excited for it.
I'm after doing this, I'm more excited for it, for sure. The trailer, like, I saw the trailer and I was just like, I like everything about this. So
because it does look very well shot now. Because it is now very, very recent in the movie world. It's more technology. It probably will have a bigger budget, more to do.
It's got someone who actually gives a shit.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock gives a shit. So
he's very, very well fucking known.
Yeah.
And you know, as soon as you hear Sam Jackson say "motherfucker" in this movie, you go, "Yeah."
I'm still convinced Sam Jackson dies in the first 10 minutes.
Surely,
I reckon.
I will agree.
He's in the trailers to get people in, but he will die straight away. I know it.
Yeah.
I know for a fact.
He's gonna
come back to this episode when we do Spiral.
Yeah. So
that's it. That's Saw.
That's the Saw franchise. I fucking love the Saw franchise, and it definitely doesn't seem like I do from this episode.
Saw 2 is very, very good. You should watch Saw 2.
Saw 1 and Saw 2 are very good. Saw 2
is great.
And why is that? Because Lee Whannell fucking had a big hand in those ones. And your boy James Wan. So
there we go.
That is Saw in a nutshell. This has been fucking rough on us, especially for Jack watching all of them within 2 days.
16 days ago and now having to talk about it now.
I felt it. I watched 3 of them on Friday and I was like, fuck me. Like, I
never need to watch another movie again.
I'm like, I don't even want to touch it. I still went out and bought 8 new DVDs, but I'm like, I don't even want to watch these now. But yeah, that's Saw. And this has been a ride. So I do have some questions to end this on. Brooke did send a couple through before I got home. Just a couple of quickies to answer. So let's have a quick crack at those. So let's go. The first one was, what do you reckon is better, gore movies or ghost movies? So I guess more of a paranormal type spiritual movies opposed to physically gore and bloody movies.
Yeah, I guess ghost movies for me.
Yeah.
The first Paranormal Activity is one of my favourite movies.
Mm.
It's probably in the top 20, I reckon. I love how subtle it is. Well, not very subtle towards the end, but yeah.
I hate Paranormal Activity so much.
I hate all the other ones.
That could be.
I've seen them all in theaters, funnily enough.
That could be a good franchise setup.
Nope.
Because I haven't seen.
Because then I'll hate them too.
And that's what I like to do.
And I like the first Conjuring. I know that's more of a demon possession, but you think it's a ghost for most of the time.
Yeah, something you say. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a more or less a spirit that overtakes people.
I don't like it when gore is the theme of the movie. I like it when it's just randomly apart. If something gory happens, you go, oh shit.
I prefer gory movies to ghost movies. That's just because of ghost movies. Like, if it was, demons or like a physical demon manifestation, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But to a ghost paranormal type movie, I'm not a big paranormal ghosty type film guy.
See, I am.
I prefer seeing like a manifestation of a demon,
Yeah.
something more physical that will scare me, not just like you can't see anything there, but it's opening the door and
See, I love
moving
subtlety,
shit.
subtle, scary,
spooky. And I get it. Yeah. It is definitely scary. I'd be fucking shit scared if I'd seen something like that. But for my viewing pleasure, I prefer seeing a more physical manifestation of fear, opposed to not being able to see that fear. I've always just preferred that. I just like, I don't know.
No, that's fair.
Definitely prefer it,
I get it
over it. And so now one that we may have to look up quickly, because we know both of our favourite Lee Whannell movies.
Yep.
Yours, of course, being Upgrade.
Yep.
And mine being, I'd probably say The Invisible Man and probably Saw, the first one.
Yep.
As it. But what are both of our favourite James Wan movies that he's directed?
Movies. Oh, I spelled movies wrong, but that's okay. Okay, so we got... Alright, so The Conjuring, Aquaman, Insidious, Fast 7...
Fuck, he did Fast 7, didn't he?
This might just be... like, movies he's attached to. I want to say actual directed. Just,
so she said directed, so...
Vamp. All filmography. Director.
Okay, yeah, he did direct Fast 7. That's fucking dumb.
So we got Aquaman. He did an episode of the MacGyver reboot. Why did he do that? Conjuring 2, which is terrible. Furious 7, which I shamelessly love a lot. Insidious, I've never seen.
Look, we all fucking love the Fast movies.
Yeah.
Deep down.
The first Conjuring for me. I love that first Conjuring movie.
I'd say for me,
really love it.
I'd say for me it would be the first Insidious.
Yeah, I need to watch those.
You really
movies,
do.
Yeah.
That is a very good franchise. The first Insidious movie for me was one that I got given as a burnt disc in high school. One of my friends was like, "Hey, I got Insidious. It's a really scary movie. Do you want to watch it?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
The red
Took
man
it home.
Jump scare scene.
Yeah, and I scared the fuck out of myself because that red man fucking ruined me. Absolutely ruined me. I was just like, holy fuck, it is a nightmare Darth Maul.
Yeah. That's like Darth Maul.
Exactly right. It's the same face paint and everything.
Furious 7 is one of the good ones, but it is just Fast and Furious. It's not really James Wan-y.
Yeah, it's
and
nothing.
they jump a car from a skyscraper to another skyscraper, I guess. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because,
Fuck, I can't wait to do the Fast movies. God damn, I can't believe we have to wait so long.
I know, but
I can't wait to watch them again.
It's going to be so worth it. But it is hard with, like, James Wan, because he does, like the Lee situation, he produces a lot more movies than he does direct.
Yeah.
Like, not as exec, but as he has producing.
Have you seen Aquaman?
Yeah, I have.
Is it good?
No.
Okay.
It's not. I'm sorry. I love Jason Momoa, but, like, it's not a great movie.
The DC that's a shame.
DC just can't make movies.
We'll touch on that when the Batman comes out.
Yes.
But, Jesus.
Yes, which would be great. Like you look at other movies he's done, so like he produced and wrote the story for The Nun, which is shit.
Awful movie.
Annabelle Comes Home.
Terrible.
Wrote the story and produced it.
Terrible.
He's also writing and producing the new Conjuring one coming out, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Of course.
Or whatever it is.
Keep milking that.
He's also going to be doing The Crooked Man.
Ugh.
Another Conjuring
spin-off. James!
And then, serving only as producer, Annabelle, the first one.
Terrible.
Insidious Chapter 3,
Probably
which
terrible.
Lee directed. Not terrible.
Ooh!
Not terrible.
Okay.
Trust me, not terrible.
I don't fucking know.
Produced Lights Out. I really love Lights Out. Annabelle Creation. Insidious, The Last Key, so the fourth one. Curse of La Llorona. He's doing the Mortal Kombat one.
Ooh.
He's only producing that one.
That's alright.
That's being filmed in Australia, so that's going to be fun.
I fucking love Mortal Kombat.
And a whole bunch of, like, random ones. Oh, he's going to be producing an untitled Train to Busan remake. I fucking knew he was. I fucking knew it.
It's a great movie, and it's not that old.
They'll westernise it.
Yeah,
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Peninsula does come out in August, though. In
Yeah,
cinemas.
hopefully that gets released here.
It is. I saw it.
Sick.
It's on the Hoyts one. It's mid-August or something, so
Fuck yeah.
that's going to be brilliant.
We got episodes, boys.
We
Season
got
2.
episodes,
We got
yeah.
episodes.
We're looking good. Season 2's picking
Season
up
2
really
looks
well.
good, man. Unfortunately, during our next new movie, I'll be moving house, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to see a new movie. That's all right. That's all right. That's an off-air conversation.
We make the time when we do that. So that's our question time, and with this, we end season 1 with probably the most fucked up of Sheppo's requests of the week. You may have noticed there's a bit of a difference in the room right now.
You'll notice I've been looking at the camera a lot more to try and see what I'm doing
and
how
I've looked
sitting.
at you a lot more today because looking this way doesn't look right to me. We're sitting in opposite seats today.
And it feels so much worse than I thought it would. I don't like this.
I really don't like it. Like,
Ugh.
I know it's literally like less than a meter between us.
Yeah, it's still not right.
And it's not like it's still just the same chair. But for 26 episodes, we've done it the same, and it's just uncomfortable. So Sheppo's main request, which I got to give him the credit for. I'm going to read it out the way he sent it to us because
it was very funny.
He really took in the
theme of the episode.
The theme of the episode.
He themed his fucked request corner.
Basically, he kidnapped us and left us with a tape recorder that played this message. Hello, Adam and Jack. I want to play a game. You boys like to sit on the couch and review movies, but you shouldn't always get too comfortable. You both will have to make the ultimate choice. Switch places, even though your body and mind resist the urge to do so. Even the thumbnail is disorientated. Can you both make the tough choice and put yourself through the discomfort for a whole episode? Live or die. Make your choice.
And we did it.
We fucking did it. I'm so glad I'm going to be about to get off this couch and never sit on this side ever again.
No.
I feel like you have your own little groove on this part.
Yeah, you're sitting in my ass groove.
I know. And I feel like I'm ruining it.
So of course we're going to end season 1 with a me doing something wrong. You will have noticed during the first 20 minutes of the episode I was very quiet. I left the microphone on one-sided. That's why I reached down and touched it before. I was still picking up on the things, so that's okay.
I did see.
It wouldn't be like that if I didn't do something wrong with the microphone.
Exactly right.
And I did. I was looking at it the whole time and I was just like, it's just because I'm on the other side. It looks different.
I'm sure it's going to be fine because when we did the pre-test, it came through pretty fine.
But it's just funny that I fucked another microphone.
So you may sound better from later. From later on within it.
More of the episode I noticed. 4 more of the episode I noticed.
Fuck.
There, season 1.
Okay,
yay!
Season 1's at an end. We fucking made it through the isolation sessions. So we're going to catch you next week with the first episode of season 2, which is our first cinema released movie, a brand new movie. Back into it. We can stop complaining about it, which we did complain about in it. We have already recorded it. So hi future us for when it happens, and you'll see that next weekend as normal.
Thanks for sticking by while we were just scrambling for themes. I know that's not what this podcast was meant to be, but we really had to think on our feet. Thank you for suggestions and asking questions and getting us through this period.
Yes.
We are going to go back to reviewing movies as they happen, recommending movies as they happen.
We're going to be spending all that money so that you may not have to.
The idea of this podcast was before, literally like 10 episodes in, we had the scramble.
Yep.
So thank you.
But it worked well. So, as always...
We've had some fun along the way.
It has been a fun time. We can never forget this all. And, yeah, we thank you all. You've done well. The reception has been great. We hope to move forward and make Season 2 more memorable than Season 1, which I'm sure we will, along with all of you.
Certainly more relevant. Because
yeah,
we're not doing movies from 12 years ago.
Exactly right. You will be excited. You'll see the movies and you'll be like, I want to watch that. I'll see what you like said.
There we go.
We'll tell you if it's worth the $16. So, as always, with this episode, like, share, subscribe, comment, do whatever you want. I'm pretty sure last episode you said comment strawberry lollipop. And Sheppo and my mum both commented that.
Fuck yeah.
So we know we have dedicated fans that watch most of the episode. So I'm happy with that. So comment on the next one with Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Just comment Mountain Dew and we'll be happy.
I'm alright with that.
But yeah, do all that good stuff and get excited to see Season 2 kicking off the cinema sessions. So, on that note, my name is Adam.
I have been Jack for the entire season and will remain being Jack for the next few seasons.
I might change it up. Next season I might be someone else. But you'll find that out in the next season.
Well, we've already introed the next season and you said your name. Spoiler alert.
You like that podcast?
Season 1, baby!